All right, you know me already. One of the things agentic AI begins to make us do is we stop being the ones doing the work. We are so used to doing a lot of work. In fact, since primary school, we've been taught to be hard working. It's like the default goal. You know, when you ask someone how they made it in life, apart from grace, is hard work. But those days are not coming to an end, but those days are being redefined, where right now, we have to start thinking as managers. So the fact that you can do something does not mean you should do it. The fact that you can do something simply means you should think of how you can do it better. You can delegate it. So all of us are coming into an era where we are becoming managers, and our employees are this agentic AI. They are the ones that take the instruction and do it for us. We just need to have the skill set to know how to delegate the tasks. So why does agentic AI matter? First of all, it reduces the workload, which is what I've been talking about since. It gives you competitive edge, okay? So imagine, for example, as a project manager, from the example I gave earlier, you have to always make sure that your team delivers. So if the project manager, for example, falls ill, that business will also be affected. But with agentic AI, you can create a system that never falls sick and is always there 24/7 to manage cognitive tasks for you. And of course, I also mentioned the 16-hour work week vision. So these are some of the things we'll be looking at. I won't take a lot of time there, but these are some of the things we'll be looking at. We're looking at agentic AI, what it is. We've talked about why it matters, the capabilities, how it collapses knowledge silos, how to think like a workflow manager. We've also talked about that a bit. Essential blocks of agentic AI, that's what you bring together to build agentic AI. Design patterns for reliable agents, safety ethics, implementation checklists, how to measure success and ROI of agents. What's next? Then we'll look at a live demo. So what is agentic AI? Agentic AI is simply a system that can autonomously make decisions for you. And we have some examples, scheduling, research, online transactions. It can plan, and it simply needs to accept a goal and implement it. So one thing I try to point out here is that there's a difference between automation and autonomy. Automation is what we've been used to. You know, for example, you walk to, let's say you walk to an eatery door, and then when you get close to it, it opens. That's an automation. Or we have the likes of people using Zapier and co. And you know, let's say for example, when I receive an email, I want it to be sent to so and so person. That's automation. But in autonomy, we are going a step further to say, okay, when I receive this email, I want this email to be read, and then to decide if there's anything in this email that is relevant for my business. And if there is, message the relevant stakeholders, assign tasks, delegate. So it goes beyond just autonomy. It goes beyond automation. It's now autonomy. These things can act for you. That's the key difference. It can make decisions in your business. It can do things and give you the time to focus on other things that matter. All right, so when we're talking about agentic AI, you have to think about it as a system that can answer most of the WH questions. It can answer the why, it can answer the how, it can answer the when. That's an AI agent can decide when things should happen. It can decide who should do it. So what you are left with as a manager, and this is thinking like a manager now, what you are left with is how you can, what you're left to define is the what. What should this agent do? So if you can decide what something should do, then you can use agentic AI. If you can decide this is what should happen, then you can create an agent that should do it for you. Another interesting thing to note here is that agentic AI democratizes knowledge. What that means is before now, everyone works in their department. So say, for example, as customer support, I'm working in customer support, I only handle tickets. As a developer, I'm in the back end, I'm coding, and so on and so forth. But with agentic AI, a developer, for example, can create an agent that would understand his code base, and if there's any question about that code base, it answers it. So that developer has begun to work in customer support without realizing it. I don't even understand the example I just gave. You can create an agent that goes through your code base and understands it. And if there's any question about your code base, instead of it being called in the middle of the night, your agent simply replies. So you are here creating, there's a democratization of knowledge. That means anyone can work in any part of the company, leading to more productivity for the company. So you as a manager, for example, you have maybe someone has an idea in customer support about a product. The person can create an AI agent that would bring that product to life without necessarily being a developer. So how do we create AI agents? Tools for building AI agents. So how many minutes have I gone into, please? I want to be working with time. How many minutes have I used so far? How many minutes have I used, please? Okay. So I'll be rushing a bit. I'm trying to just make sure we get to the demo as fast as possible. So these are some of the no-code tools you can use that you can create an AI agent, even if you don't know how to code. We'll be using Relevance AI to check some of the things during the demo, but these are some of the other tools you can use. And if you prefer to code, these are also some of the other frameworks you can use. So generative AI agents, agentic AI, these are like 3 steps to, so we started from here. We had generative AI, ChatGPT and the likes. You can tell it, create an email for me, create an outline for me. That is you telling it what to do. But then AI agents take it a step further where we have an automation, and then the automation uses AI. So when a customer signs up, generates a welcome email with ChatGPT, creating the flow. Then we now go from AI agents to agentic AI. Agentic AI is goal-driven. So you just set up, you just tell it, when somebody signs up, let's say I onboard a new employee, simply explain to them how the company works, and then they will begin to talk to you from here henceforth. So you can see there's a growth from generative AI to AI agents, then to agentic AI. So agentic AI makes us all managers. I talked about this earlier. We have to begin to rethink. The fact that you can do something does not mean you should do it. Rather, you should be creating an agent that you can delegate it to. Okay, so why now? Why do we have access to agentic AI now? Why could we not do it 10 years ago? Well, right now we have advanced LLMs like GPT-5, we have reliable tools, and then we have more demand for complex workflow automation. So what are the things an agent can do? The capabilities of an agent, it can perceive, that it can understand what's going on around it. It can know when somebody signs up for your business, for example. It can reason, it can plan, it can use tools. It can use tools like email to send emails. There's a video in the slide, I hope it plays. Yeah. So you can use tools, the agents can use tools, and then the agents can learn and adapt. And this is one very key thing that makes it interesting. Your agents can learn just like an human being can learn. The very first day, for example, you start working off, I saw a joke on Twitter about this guy who started working at Cloudflare the day that Cloudflare went down. And everybody just assumes it's probably the guy that, cut the cable. But all of us had that experience where, this was the first time we're doing something, and we didn't know how to do it well. But over time, we learned how to do it, and then we adapted and got better. So your agentic AI can also learn. The first time you give it a task, it may struggle, but then you can refine it and make it better. So what are some of the use cases? Productivity agents. You can have an agent, for example, that every time you wake up, it sends you what you should do for today. And let's say you didn't finish a task today, for example. Tomorrow, it can bring up that same task. Hey, you didn't do this yesterday. Is it too complex? I'll break it down for you. So all of that is happening autonomously. You can have a sales agent. An example could be an agent that goes through LinkedIn, finds people who are interested in your product, and messages them. And let's say for maybe they're not willing to reply the first time and the second time, it intelligently knows the best time to reach out to them again, where they are more receptive to your message. We have research agents, customer support agents, and also multi-step workflow automation, where you chain an agent to an agent. So just like how, for example, the UI UX team can have a deliverable that they will give to the front-end team, that they give to the back-end team. You can have an agent work, and when it's done, it gives its work to another agent, and before you know it, you can have a whole workforce of agents. Okay, we can skip this. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about safety. We've talked about agents, how powerful they are, what they can do. We also need to begin to consider, okay, how can we make it secure? Because if you have an agent, for example, that is probably talking to customers, I want to make sure that there are safeguards around what it says. I don't want it insulting a customer and me losing millions of dollars. So these are some of the things we can do. We can set safeguards around what an agent does. We can define, and when we're defining the agents, we can give strict boundaries to what it can do and what it cannot do. Because we also have governance. Governance refers to how we allocate or how we manage these tasks. You want to give an agent, you don't want to give a calendar agent, for example, to email work. So you can govern how the agents work and making sure that they work in their domain of expertise. You can define permission boundaries. Internal first deployment, this is also another key thing to note. So if you're developing an agent, for example, you want to make sure you're first using it in the company or inside before you launch it for customers. Audit trails, human overrides. Human overrides means, just like how, for example, an intern can be like, oh, this stuff isn't working, and then call the boss. The AI can also be like, I'm having issues here, can you help out? It's just like a typical employee, and then bias and fairness to make sure that the agent is fair and there's no bias with its responses. So how do you know if your agents can use, or if your business can use AI agents? Well, so these are some of the frameworks you can use. If you have a lot of repeatability and you need a lot of intelligence with what you're doing, that's the cognitibility test. That means your business is probably right for AI. Or if you have a lot of input systems, that's you accept emails, processing systems, or decision systems, you have things that need approval or prioritization, or feedback systems, you need to follow up with customers. Your business is probably right for agentic implementation. And also the outcome parity test. That's if you have a very clear business goal, it's not vague, you have a very clear business goal and you have the needed tools, you can implement agentic AI. So, okay, this is not too important. How do you measure success? One of the things that AI helps us to do, agentic AI, is to save time. So you can look at, okay, how much time am I saving? Before I was working 8 hours, now I'm working 6 hours. That means your agent is doing its work. The task success rates, because every time an agent finishes its work, it will come back to tell you. So you can look at how many times it's able to achieve the task. Intervention ratio, that's how many times does it need you to step in, and then the user satisfaction, that's how many times is the user happy with what it did. So the risk and the future, not too important. Okay. All right, so the demo, the interesting part. I hope this video plays. Is it possible? Okay, so let's just watch this. It's not too comprehensive, but is there a sound? Oh. What do I do?
Please, in order not to waste much time, can we proceed without the sound?
Okay, I will try to.
Just
Is there where I can pause? I can pause and explain what it's
Yes, I
showing.
think you might be pausing it for you. Once there is need for pause, you can tell us. Is that okay?
Okay, so let me start from the beginning, and then I'll tell you when it needs to pause. So in this situation, it's start from the comment from customer to develop that kind of draft the idea and create a task. So there's no need for a manual task anymore. So what we're seeing here, I think it's better if I explain. What we're seeing here is we have a chatbot on the website, and then someone can come, or an agent. You can just play on, don't worry. I'll try to walk along. Just keep playing it. So we have the agent, we have the...
This demo, I'll be showing an integration that we have. So in this integration,
Okay, so what we have here, am I audible? All right, so what we have here is, this is the Cooler Solutions website, and then we have a chatbot on the side, okay? And then on this chatbot, you can come, for example, as a customer and say, I want to build a website. Thank you. I want to build a website like Airbnb, like Ticketmaster in the next 2 months. And then you send that to us via the chatbot. So, for example, this is a user typing his requests. Like Airbnb in 2 months deadline, and he sends it to us. So once that is received, we get it through our ticketing system, talk.to. This is the request here. And then from there, the admin or the customer support can decide to create an agent, or can decide to create a ticket rather, that we have a customer who needs a website. It gives the title and the body of the ticket. So this ticket will then be created. So this ticket is created here and then sent to the Agentic AI. So create, and then the ticket has been created, and then it's sent from here via our backend process to the agent. So this is where we create the agent. You can see Airbnb-like website request just came into the agent. This is Relevance AI, by the way. And then we see the agent begin to work. So it understands that, okay, this came in, someone needs Airbnb-like websites. What are the things required to create a website like Airbnb? It breaks it down into the technical task or the technical steps that is required, and then it sends a message to our Slack team that, okay, we have a new customer request. This is what is needed. So you can make another thing about agents is you can see how it's working in real time, so you understand the context if you want. So these are the tools it's using. We have this tool called Slack Send Channel Message. It sends a message to the Slack channel. Then we get Then it gets all the members of the Slack channel. Now, one thing we've done when we're creating this agent is we put each of the members of the channel and what they can do, each of the members on our Slack and what they are good with. So you can see this is in Slack. This is the message that was sent. From that user input or from that customer video, we have this technical breakdown that we as developers can work with. So these are the technical things, but these are things that we as a team use. So you can see time is 7:59, so sent 10:58 just now. But we're going to take it a step further and look at how it can then attempt to send this same thing, break it down into tasks that each of the channel members or each of the members on the Slack can then work on. So, okay, I wish I could fast forward, but these are just some of the stuff here. So this is me, for example. Me, I'm probably I think I'm the front-end guy. Okay, yeah, I'm the front-end guy. So the same agent looks at, okay, each of these 3 people, we have what we handle. This person handles this front back-end, this person handles UI, this person handles front-end. So from that old tax PRD, it looks at what I can handle, and then it creates a task for me to handle along with the deadline. So these are my responsibilities. I'm to design this. I'm to use the modern SP framework. These are my deliverables. This is the deadline, and these are the success criteria. And I can go ahead to make this agent follow up on each of the members, send them reminders, so that everyone works with the timeline provided. And all of this, it just comes from a prompt or from a customer support request. So with this, we don't need a product manager who would probably spend weeks understanding the product requirements and then try to assign tasks to everybody. No, this agent knows each person's strengths. As you can see, we have this knowledge document for each person's strength has been included, and then the agent can then assign tasks to everybody in the team. So that's the demo. I also wanted to put it out there. If you're interested in learning more about agentic AI, there's only so much you can talk about here. But if you want to create processes like this for your business, we've been running a bootcamp, and we have a session coming up early 2026. You can scan the QR code if it's something like you're interested in. I will also be getting across the material or the agents that we set up in this demo to everyone who registers, so you can get it in your email. And are we good with the? Okay. And yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you so much for supporting to thank Quara Build. I want to thank my family, my friends, the team at College Solutions, my babe, and yeah, welfare. Nana, thank you. Thank you so much everyone. And I hope you had a good time. Any questions? Any questions? All right then, I've been here on Israel. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of Quara Build.